Hello and welcome to Nerd Alert. We have another week of shows for you that are awesome. This week I am joined by a return guest who I adore. His name is Ivan Van Norman. He has a Twitch show all his own on Geek and Sundry, and he's also a game creator making Outbreak Undead. And now you have a new one?
Yeah, it's Outbreak Undead 2nd Edition, believe it or not. Yes. So we came out with the original about 5 years ago, and now it was time to put together a new edition after getting a couple of off-spins like Outbreak Deep Space. And guess what? It's a brand new edition with its own starter kit.
Awesome.
Which is available on pre-order.
We'll put that information down below. And speaking of pre-order, this might not be the best segue, Ivan.
It's not a good time to talk about pre-orders, guys.
Deus Ex is having a bit of a terrible idea, I would say. We've talked before, well, I've spoken before about why you should not pre-order games, because it signals to the game publisher that the marketing is more important than the meat that you're actually getting from the game. Case in point, there have been a few unfinished games that were given to the public. And then, of course, we have incentives and these things that actually don't matter to the gameplay being prioritized ahead of time. Well, Deus Ex has continued in that vein with some new promises for if you pre-order their new game. Let's take a look.
Start today by pre-ordering Deus Ex Mankind Divided at any retailer and choose your first reward. Choose from rewards like DLC, an art book, an exclusive mission, and more. Combine multiple rewards across different tiers to customize your ideal loadout. As pre-order numbers climb, more rewards are unlocked. If pre-order goals are reached, everyone gets to select one reward from each tier, as well as the ultimate prize. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Released 4 days early.
Oh, my pitiful life will have meaning!
4 days of my life
the
going into it.
So you have a background working on crowdsourcing campaigns.
Yeah.
Basically how this works is that you will get to choose what bonuses you get for pre-ordering, which you may value or not value if you're me. And then if everyone else orders, you unlock new tiers. Pretty much this looks a lot like setting certain stretch goals, except this project is fully funded and does not need that extra help.
So as they say, one of the big things with crowdfunding is you want to get everyone on board and excited about getting more and more stuff. And some people would even say that stretch goals are a bane to Kickstarters because it's kind of setting an expectation that content providers need to be producing more and more and more and more and more. But this is as you said, this is already done. This is like a thing. This is finished, and it's amazing to me that we keep rewarding bad behavior in the form of these pre-orders. It's like it started as an idea that some people were like, oh great, I'm not gonna have to deal with lines, and that was the whole idea around the pre-order. It's like, hey, let's just avoid bullshit when I'm going to go pick up my copy. And now it's become an overinflated thing to where, if content creators think they can get a minimum amount of revenue before the game is even out, that they can kind of half-ass it. I don't want to say half-ass it, but they can rush.
Rest on their laurels a little bit. They can push something that's not ready. This is sizzle, it's not steak. And it's always bothered me that so much hype and pressure has been put into pre-orders. It's become kind of a culture now in video games. Like if you don't get a big pre-order for this game, then it's probably going to be a failure. And it doesn't need to be that way.
It doesn't need to be that way. And I mean, when did we ever start? Did we ever pre-order movie tickets? Like I know people can buy tickets in advance.
Isn't that what Fandango is?
Fandango is buying tickets, not necessarily always tickets in advance.
Okay.
But then is a new release of a movie completely centered around how many tickets that it sells beforehand?
Well, opening weekend, and that is
opening weekend's important still too.
And we can still have opening day sales, opening week sales for games.
Right.
It's become this culture where we need to put the priority somewhere that games shouldn't be. It should be about the game. We should have a fully realized, functional game, Batman. That everyone gets on the day that it's promised. And then we can also get into the issue of DLC culture, of giving you the ending of a game or the true ending of a game separately in small installments, and that makes it okay. none of this should be okay, but it somehow has been normalized to feel that way.
Well, and I think it's just because at some point there was a demand that was set. People wanted more stuff because they enjoyed their games and they wanted more of their games. And then at some point, content providers said, okay, well, we can give you more stuff. We're just going to give it you in bite size. And then they realized that it made sense to try to provide that before the content even came out. And it just kind of snowballed. This all started, I feel like it all started from a good place. It was to give gamers what they want. But now it's slowly become, milk every little amount of dollar that you can get with producing putting as little work into it as you possibly can. If you think about it, all the DLCs that they put into, say, Arkham Knight, it's the development time that they put into that is minimal compared to the development time that they put into the full game. Yet, still, DLC can be anywhere from 10 to 20% of the retail price of the game.
Sure. And you look at games like Destiny, and you see a $40 DLC, which is insane because the base game was $60.
Yeah, and and a lot of the assets and stuff already created. They just. And I haven't downloaded any of the DLCs for Destiny, so I don't know if they had a bunch of new maps, missions, territories, and things like that.
Yeah, along those lines. The newest one is an overhaul, but that's beside the point we're trying to make here today, which is pre-order culture has, I think, deformed what the base of what games should be and what people who enjoy games, who consume games, want. And I think it's really disgusting. And when we look at what Deus Ex Mankind Divided is doing, it's a new low. It should not be this way. You should not be doing these things that are at heart not for the gamer at all, that are just for profit.
Someone had a meeting about this, though. Someone had a meeting, and they said, you know what really works right now with kids? Kickstarter. And stretch goals are awesome. Let's make our freaking game and all of our pre-orders into stretch goals.
If only it made sense, though, because the game is done. It's made. No amount of money you can give it now will improve the game. Just saying. Audience, what do you think of the new Deus Ex Mankind Divided idea for pre-orders? I almost said stretch goal because it's nearly the same thing. Let us know below in the comments, and please subscribe for more.